Hello and welcome to my YouTube. This YouTube is How Well Do You Remember the Late 1960s? I was 23 years old in 1967 and I was stationed on the aircraft carrier USS Enterprise on my third combat tour to Vietnam. This was my ship, 1,200 feet long, 18 stories tall, 94,000 tons, had a crew of 5,800 men. So, who was president in 1966? And the answer? President Johnson. In 1966, what movie starred Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, a very dysfunctional couple? And that movie was Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? What was the name of the ship in this Steve McQueen 1966 movie? By the way, it is an actual ship that cruised the Yangtze River in China. That movie ship was the Sand Pebbles. What was the name of the 1967 movie starring a very young Dustin Hoffman? And that, of course, was The Graduate. Who are these two people? Not the actors and actresses' real name, but the characters that they played. They, of course, are Bonnie and Clyde. What was the 1967 movie starring these tough convicts turned soldiers? And that movie was The Dirty Dozen. What was this character's first name in this 1966 prison movie? That's Paul Newman, by the way. And that character's name was Luke, as in Cool Hand Luke. And here he is in the famous scene where he eats all those hard-boiled eggs. In the film 2001: A Space Odyssey, what did this astronaut ask the computer HAL to do? And what he said was, "Open the pod bay doors, HAL." And what did HAL reply? "I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that." And now for extra credit. According to the movie, where was HAL created? Where was this computer program called HAL? Where was he developed? And the answer is the University of Illinois. And I was on the faculty from 1974 to 1978. What movie starred these two actors? The answer is The Odd Couple. What was this lady's name in the movie The Graduate? Simon and Garfunkel made a record about her, and her name was Mrs. Robinson. What 1968 movie featured this shocking ending scene? Here we have the Statue of Liberty, which has been destroyed, and sunken into the sand. It was a total surprise. What was that movie? And it was Planet of the Apes. These astronauts land on this planet, and all during the movie, you think it's some other planet. In the final scene, you realize, oh my Lord, the planet of the apes is Earth. The humans destroyed it. Who are these two characters? That, of course, is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. What movie featured these guys? And that, of course, is Easy Rider. In the movie Midnight Cowboy, what was the name of the character played by Dustin Hoffman? This guy. What was his first name? And that name is Ratso. What does Dustin Hoffman yell at the taxi driver who almost hit him? Very famous scene in the movie Midnight Cowboy. And he yelled, "I'm walking here, I'm walking here." Now here's the rest of the story. This scene was not scripted. This accidentally happened in reality. They were filming this, and this taxi driver came around a corner and almost ran into Dustin Hoffman, and he really yelled, "I'm walking here, I'm walking here." And the cameras were rolling, so they just left it in the movie. Probably the most famous line in the movie. Pure accident. What's the name of this car in this 1969 Disney movie? The Love Bug. What was the name of this movie that John Wayne won an Academy Award for? Tough One-Eyed Cowboy. And that movie was True Grit. What was the name of the character played by John Wayne? And that was Rooster Cogburn. Famous scene where he rides across the field with guns in each hand and the stirrups of the bridle in his teeth. Who is this, and what movie did she star in 1969? This, of course, is Barbra Streisand, and the movie was Hello, Dolly. Who is this actor? He was in The Dirty Dozen. And this, of course, is Lee Marvin. What #1 song did the Troggs record on 1966? You may not remember them, but you remember the song title if you're an old person like me, and it was Wild Thing, I Think I Love You. What was Lulu's #1 hit in 1967? And I'll give you a hint. Think about a teacher. And that song was To Sir with Love. Who sang Light My Fire? The answer was The Doors. What 1969 song began with these lyrics? It was the 3rd of June, another sleepy, dusty Delta day. I was out chopping cotton and my brother was baling hay. And that, of course, is Ode to Billy Joe by Bobby Gentry. Who sang R-E-S-P-E-C-T? That is the great Aretha Franklin. Who are these guys? I'll give you a hint. They're a singing group, and they are the Monkees. Who is this singer? Had a lot of hits. This is Frankie Valli. Who sang the 1969 #1 hit song, Suspicious Minds? And that was the great Elvis. What 1969 hit song did this group sing? The Archies. Give you a hint, it's one word repeated twice. Sugar, sugar. Who took that first step onto the moon on July 20th, 1969, as millions of us watched live on TV? And that, of course, was Neil Armstrong. What did Neil Armstrong say when he took that first step onto the moon? And he said, "This is one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind." And unfortunately, the word "a" was garbled in the transmission, and what people heard was, "This is one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." When he got back to Earth, it was corrected. This is what he really said. In 1968, who sang "I Heard It Through the Grapevine"? That was Marvin Gaye. Who sang and played Purple Haze? That was Jimi Hendrix. What was this TV show about some city slickers that moved to the country? And that was Green Acres. Who is this Red Skelton character? When I was looking at the picture, I was amazed. Look at this. His right eye is looking straight, and his left eye is looking cross-eyed. I don't know how you can control one eye, but he did. Anyway, this is the famous Clem Cadiddlehopper. What's the name of Batman's sidekick? And that, of course, is Robin. Okay, are you Star Trek fans? Who is this? This, of course, is Scotty, the engineer. Let's stay with Star Trek. Who is this? Lieutenant Sulu. Who is this, and what TV show was she on? That, of course, is Goldie Hawn on Laugh-In. In Star Trek, who was the first Enterprise crew member that Captain Kirk kissed on screen? And that famous kiss was with Lieutenant Uhura on November 22nd, 1966. And it caused a real stir. There was tons of mail, both pro and con. This wasn't the first interracial kiss, but this is probably the most famous interracial kiss in that era. Who is this tough cop? The hint, Dragnet. And this, of course, is Joe Friday. What TV show were these people on? And the answer is Bewitched. Who won the Academy Award for Best Actor in the movie In the Heat of the Night? And that guy was Rod Steiger. A tough, bigoted cop. What movie did Katharine Hepburn win the Academy Award for Best Actress? And the answer was, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? Co-starring Sidney Poitier. Who is this actor, and on what TV show did he get his big break? That, of course, is Clint Eastwood on Rawhide. In 1969, the U.S. Navy established the Navy Fighter Weapons School. What's it usually called? It's usually called Top Gun. On July 19, 1969, Senator Ted Kennedy drove off a bridge and killed Mary Jo Kopechne. Where did this happen? Of course, this was one of the biggest news stories in America at the time. And this happened at Chappaquiddick Island. Who is this infamous person? This is Charles Manson. What was the name of the music festival held in upstate New York in 1969? And 400,000 or 500,000 people showed up. That, of course, is the famous Woodstock. This is Lieutenant William Calley. What did he do? And it wasn't good. He led the My Lai massacre in Vietnam in 1969, and he was court-martialed for it. This airplane made its debut in 1969. What is it called? This, of course, is the Boeing 747, the jumbo jet. This guy first appeared on TV in December of 1969. Who is he? That, of course, is Frosty the Snowman. Who is this guy? And I'll give you a hint. They're still looking for him. This is Jimmy Hoffa, who was president of the Teamsters Union, who mysteriously disappeared. And for decades now, people have been wondering, where is his body? All kinds of rumors about that. Who is this singer? This is kind of a toughie. This is a guy named Donovan. Who is this singing group? This is the very fine group called the Mamas and the Papas. Who is this singer? This is Janis Joplin. Who are these guys? One of my favorite groups. This, of course, is the Kingston Trio. What TV show was this guy in? Notice that he's sitting in a wheelchair. And this was the TV show Ironside. What TV show were these men in? Very popular for years. Bonanza. Who is this guy? This, of course, is the very fine, very popular actor, Andy Griffith. Who is this guy? What's the actor's name? This is Art Carney. And for extra points, what was his character's name in The Honeymooners? He was Ed Norton, and his wife's name was Trixie. Ed Norton. Ralph Cramden was his buddy. What TV show did this actor star in? A Secret Agent, by the way. And this, of course, is Don Adams as Maxwell Smart in the show Get Smart. I love this. Notice it's a rotary dial phone hidden in his shoe. What was this game? And this was called Twister. Now, this is a very unusual version of that. Look at this. This had water that squirted up through it. I'd never seen one like that. That's pretty cool. Great for kids in the summer. So what you did is you'd spin this dial and it would tell you, put your foot on this color and put your hand on this color, and you ended up in all of these contorted, twisted conditions. Who is this politician? And she is famous because she was the very first black member of the U.S. Congress. And she was Shirley Chisholm. What was Muhammad Ali's original name when he first started, when he won the gold medal in the Olympics? His name was Cassius Clay, Jr. What movie did this actor star in? And that movie was Dr. Zhivago. So thanks for watching. I hope you old people like me had some fun walking down memory lane. Be well, my friends.